Walk into any dealership and watch what happens when you say the words budget cruiser. The salesperson will suddenly remember they have 17 urgent phone calls to return. They will steer you toward a gleaming $19,000 chrome explosion with a monthly payment that outlives most houseplants. Today, we are exposing the 15 exact cruisers that smart senior riders are buying for under $5,000, and the deeply practical insider reasons why. But beware, the legendary machine sitting at number one completely destroys the dealership's favorite script about what a real cruiser costs. You will not believe how little it costs. Number 15, the Kawasaki Vulcan 900 Classic. When a senior rider walks into a used bike lot with $4,000 cash and mentions they want something comfortable and reliable, the salesperson immediately starts walking them toward a 12-year-old Harley with a suspicious oil patch underneath it and the optimistic asking price of a newer European sedan. Ignore that person completely. Mechanics and savvy senior riders have been quietly buying the Kawasaki Vulcan 900 Classic for years, whispering about it at coffee stops like it is classified government information. Clean used examples regularly surface between $3,000 and $4,500, which in today's market feels illegal. The seat height sits at a confidence-inspiring 27.2 inches, which means riders between 5'5" and 5'8" can plant both feet firmly on the pavement without performing any kind of interpretive yoga. Reliability is the specific insider detail that makes mechanics smile when this bike comes up. The liquid-cooled 55-degree V-twin engine is practically bulletproof. Parts are available everywhere, and the global Kawasaki supply network means you will never wait 3 weeks for a gasket like you might with certain nostalgic American alternatives. Find one at private sales on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and Cycle Trader, where sellers frequently undervalue them simply because they lack a famous badge. What senior owners consistently rave about is the effortless low-rev torque that makes highway merging feel completely relaxed without ever touching the top third of the throttle. Like driving a freight train in a school zone. The Vulcan 900 is a quiet genius. But what if you want something with shaft drive so you never kneel on a parking lot floor lubricating a chain again? Number 14 eliminated that chore entirely. And number 14, the Honda Shadow 750 Ace and Aero. Nobody talks about the Honda Shadow 750. This is genuinely baffling. It is as if the entire used motorcycle market collectively decided to look directly at a gold bar on the sidewalk and then step carefully around it. Clean examples of the Shadow 750. Ace and Aero generations sell between $2,500 and $4,000. Yes, that price is real. No, this is not a scam. The seat height on the Ace sits at a magnificent 26.4 inches, making it accessible to practically every senior rider alive without requiring a single modification. The Aero variant sits similarly low at 25.5 inches. We are talking about a motorcycle you can flat foot from both sides simultaneously, which is a level of confidence that money genuinely cannot buy on taller machines. The riding position is classically upright with mid-mounted pegs that keep your knees at a natural angle rather than folded up somewhere near your shoulder blades. The wide saddle is comfortable across medium distances without the need to stop and dramatically stretch at every fuel station like someone who just survived a transatlantic flight in a middle seat. The V-twin engine is Honda reliable, meaning it will outlast your interest in owning it. Parts are cheap and universal. Find them through private sellers who frequently undervalue them because the badge says Honda rather than something that begins with H and ends in a sound like a large B. Senior owners consistently rave about how the Shadow 750 handles slow traffic in ways that make other bikes feel like they are actively fighting you. The Shadow 750 is a shaft drive legend hiding in plain sight. But what if you want classic V-twin character with the name recognition of a machine that actually gets respect at the coffee stop? Number 13 is about to embarrass some expensive competition. Number 13, the Suzuki Intruder 1400 vs 1400. The Suzuki Intruder. 1400 is the motorcycle equivalent of finding out that the quiet person in the corner at a party is actually an international chess grandmaster and also a chef. Nobody expected 1,400 cubic centimeters of smooth air-cooled V-twin for under $4,000. And yet, clean examples sell between $2,800 and $4,200. The seat height is 27.6 inches, which is entirely manageable for riders of average height without any lowering modifications. The saddle is wide and flat with a natural, upright riding position that senior owners describe as like sitting in a very comfortable chair that also happens to do 80 miles per hour. The low-speed handling at approximately 640 pounds is confidence-inspiring because the weight sits so low in the frame that the physics work in your favor. Parking lots, U-turns, and gas station entrances that angle uphill slightly, all managed without drama. This machine is overlooked because it lacks the marketing budget of competitors and the social media presence of smaller, trendier machines. Find them through private sales and estate auctions where sellers frequently ask less than market value simply because they do not know what they have. Senior owners rave about the torque, specifically the torque at low revolutions, that pulls with absolute authority from almost any speed without requiring gear changes. The Intruder, your 1400, is a torque legend. But what if you want something lighter, something you can manhandle out of a tight garage space without calling your neighbor for assistance? Number 12 solves the weight equation brilliantly. Now, if this list is already saving you from handing a dealership salesperson a deposit on something that cost more than your first car, hit that like button right now. Done? Let's move on now. Number 12, the Yamaha V-Star 650, Custom and Classic. Here's a scene that plays out at used bike markets everywhere. A senior rider sees the Yamaha V-Star 650, and they look at the price tag of $2,500 to $3,500. They look at it again. They check the mileage. They look at the price again. Then they look around nervously as if they are about to steal something. They are not stealing anything. This is just what a genuinely well-priced, well-engineered small cruiser looks like in the wild. Weight is approximately 435 pounds wet, which is so manageable it practically apologizes for existing. Slow-speed handling in parking lots is effortless. The shaft drive on the classic variant eliminates chain maintenance entirely, which means you arrive home clean after a ride rather than looking like you spent the afternoon in a machine shop. The shaft drive is the specific mechanical feature that senior owners talk about endlessly. Yamaha engineers developed a drive system that requires almost no maintenance, makes almost no noise, and lasts for an almost unreasonable number of miles before needing replacement. Dealerships reportedly find this deeply inconvenient. Parts are available everywhere. The V-twin engine is legendarily simple. Find these at private sales, Craigslist, and dealership used sections where they frequently sit underpriced because salespeople are busy trying to sell things with larger commission margins. Senior owners rave about how light and flickable the V-Star 650 feels through corners, consistently describing it as the machine that restored their riding confidence after a long break. The V-Star 650 is confidence in a light package. But what if you want the full cruiser look with a bigger engine and you still refuse to spend more than $4,000? Number 11 has been hiding exactly what you need. Number 11, the Honda Shadow Spirit 750. The Honda Shadow Spirit 750 is living proof that you can absolutely judge a book by its cover and have the book turn out to be exactly as good as it looks. This machine looks like a proper American-style V-twin cruiser. It sounds like a proper V-twin cruiser, and it costs approximately $2,500 to $3,800 used, which is where the comparison to expensive American V-twin cruisers ends abruptly. Seat height sits at 25.5 inches. 25.5. This number is so low that even riders who have spent years believing they were too short For cruisers, discover they can comfortably flat-foot the Spirit with room to spare. The low-slung saddle positions the rider with a natural, forward-leaning comfort that keeps the lower back relaxed across extended riding sessions. The V-twin engine is Honda reliable to a degree that is almost philosophically interesting. Honda engineered these motors with such excessive quality margins that professional mechanics routinely see them exceed 100,000 miles on basic oil changes. The carbureted versions are simple enough to service in a driveway. The fuel-injected later models add modern starting reliability without adding significant complexity. This machine is overlooked because it carries a 750 designation in a market that has been culturally conditioned to believe bigger numbers mean better machines. Find these at private sales, where owners frequently underestimate their value, and at auction where bidders are busy fighting over more conspicuous machines. Senior owners consistently rave about the starting reliability every single morning, every single time. First push of the button, no rituals, no choke adjustments, no conversations with the machine to establish mutual trust. Just start and ride. The Shadow Spirit is Japanese reliability wearing American clothes. But what if you want something with actual European character at a price that makes European motorcycle dealers physically uncomfortable? Number 10 is going to make some Italian dealerships very nervous. Number 10. The Moto Guzzi V7 Classic Early Generation. Picture the scene. You walk into a dealership selling modern Italian motorcycles. The salesperson is wearing fashionable eyewear and describes every machine as having DNA. You mention you found a Moto Guzzi V7 Classic for $3,500 on a private sales site. The salesperson laughs politely. You buy the Guzzi. You ride it for 100,000 miles. The salesperson is now asking if you want fries with that. Life is beautiful. Clean early generation Moto Guzzi V7 Classic surface between $3,000 and $4,500, which is a price that buys you genuine Italian engineering, shaft drive, and a mechanical character that no Japanese or American machine of similar price can honestly replicate. Seat height sits at approximately 30.3 inches, which is on the taller end for this list, but entirely manageable for riders of average height. The upright riding position is classically European, with handlebars that rise to meet you naturally, and foot pegs positioned for relaxed, long-distance comfort. The seat itself is narrow and firm. Europeans apparently believe comfort is something you earn rather than sit on, and aftermarket seat options are widely available. Senior owners rave about the engine torque from low revolutions that makes city riding feel effortlessly relaxed without ever needing to rush the throttle. The Guzzi V7 is Italian character at Japanese prices. But if Italian shaft drives have you intrigued, but the Guzzi feels slightly exotic for your first budget purchase, Number 9 does shaft drive with Japanese reliability and a price that will make you check the listing twice. Number 9. The Yamaha V-Star 1100 Custom and Classic. The Yamaha V-Star 1100 is the machine that exists in the sweet spot between affordable enough to buy without a finance agreement and powerful enough to never feel underpowered on any road you will actually use. It sits here at number 9 because the used market has been criminally ignoring it, and that ignorance has created a value opportunity that smart senior riders are quietly exploiting. Clean examples of the V-Star. The 1100 sell between $3,000 and $4,500. This buys you 1,100 cubic centimeters of smooth, air-cooled V-twin motivation in a classically styled cruiser chassis with a seat height of 27.2 inches that is accessible for riders of average height without modification. The classic variant uses a belt drive. The custom uses a shaft drive. Both options eliminate chain maintenance entirely, which at this point on the list you'll recognize as a recurring theme because senior riders who have been maintaining motorcycles for 30 years universally agree that chain maintenance is fine when you are 25 and deeply irritating when you are 65. The riding position is classically upright with wide pullback handlebars and forward position foot pegs that let your legs stretch naturally rather than fold under you. Seat comfort is adequate out of the factory and excellent with any of the widely available aftermarket saddle upgrades. Weight sits at approximately 590 pounds wet, with a low center of gravity making slow-speed maneuvering dramatically more manageable than the number suggests. Parts are universal across the huge Yamaha network. Find these at private sales where sellers persistently price them below their actual value because the name is not as famous as alternatives. 9 machines down, 6 to go. And the 6 remaining entries include a Honda that dealerships actively pray you never Google. Hit subscribe and ring the notification bell right now so you do not miss a single entry. The best value on this entire list is still coming. Number 8, the Honda Magna 750 V750C. The Honda Magna 750 is the machine that happens when Honda engineers apparently looked at each other one Tuesday afternoon and collectively decided to install a sport bike V4 engine into a cruiser chassis, add a low seat, make it extraordinarily reliable, then price the used example so reasonably that buyers assume something must be wrong with it. Nothing is wrong with it. Clean Magna 750. Examples sell between $2,500 and $4,000, which for a V4 engine with sport bike-derived reliability in a cruiser package represents value that requires a moment of quiet reflection to fully appreciate. Seat height sits at 27.6 inches, which is accessible for most senior riders without modification. The wide, flat seat positions the rider in a natural, upright posture. The handlebars pull back generously. The mid-mounted foot pegs keep the knees at a comfortable angle across extended rides. The overall ergonomic package is genuinely comfortable for riders prioritizing lower back health. Parts are abundant through the vast Honda network and the thriving aftermarket community. Weight is approximately 520 pounds wet. Find these at private sales where sellers frequently price them below market because buyers unfamiliar with the V4 architecture assume Japanese sport bike equals complex equals expensive to maintain. They are wrong. Senior owners rave about the buttery smooth V4 character that makes highway cruising feel effortlessly refined in a way no parallel twin or V-twin at this price point can replicate. The Magna is a V4 bargain hiding behind a modest price. But what if your priority is finding a classic-looking machine with British heritage, modern reliability, and a used price that makes Triumph dealers question their life choices? Number 7 is arriving from across the Atlantic with something important to say. Number 7, the Royal Enfield Meteor 350. The Royal Enfield Meteor 350 is the machine that dealerships selling premium European and American cruisers desperately do not want you to Google. Because when you Google it, you discover that it costs approximately $4,000 to $4,800 used, looks thoroughly charming, and has a reliability record that embarrasses machines costing 3 times the price. Seat height sits at a confidence-building 29.9 inches. This is accessible for riders between 5'5" and 5'8" without any modification. The wide, flat saddle with thick foam padding positions the rider in a naturally upright cruiser posture with pullback handlebars that reduce wrist strain across extended distances. Royal Enfield spent considerable engineering effort making the Meteor comfortable because, and this is apparently a revolutionary concept in motorcycle design, they wanted riders to enjoy sitting on it. Weight is approximately 421 pounds wet, making the Meteor one of the lightest full cruiser format machines on this list. Slow-speed maneuvering in parking lots and tight U-turns is effortless in a way that heavier machines physically cannot be, regardless of their other qualities. The single-cylinder J-platform engine is mechanically simple and remarkably refined for its architecture. Parts are available through the expanding Royal Enfield dealer network and the enthusiastic global aftermarket community. The machine requires minimal, major maintenance across its service life. This machine is overlooked because Royal Enfield's heritage in the American market is recent, and buyers conditioned to famous badges hesitate at unfamiliar names. Their hesitation creates your opportunity. Find these at Royal Enfield dealers, Cycle Trader, and private sales. Senior owners rave about the effortless handling at low speeds and in traffic, consistently describing the Meteor as the machine that made them excited about riding again after years away. The Meteor 350 is a budget revelation. But if you want something with more displacement, more highway presence, and an engine that has been proving itself globally for 25 years, number 6 is going to make your wallet very happy. Number 6, the Kawasaki Vulcan 800 Classic. There are motorcycles that quietly do everything right and receive zero credit for it because they do not have a marketing department that hires famous people to look brooding while leaning against them. The Kawasaki Vulcan 800 Classic is exactly that motorcycle. Clean examples sell between $2,500 and $4,000. The seat height sits at 27 inches, which is low enough for senior riders of average height to reach the ground confidently. The wide, flat saddle positions the rider upright with naturally placed handlebars and forward-leaning foot pegs that allow the legs to stretch rather than fold. Seat comfort for medium-distance touring is genuinely good directly from the factory. Weight is approximately 491 pounds wet, with the Classic's low center of gravity making slow-speed confidence significantly higher than the number suggests. This machine is overlooked because it sits between the more famous Vulcan 900 and the legendary Vulcan 1500 in displacement, attracting attention from neither end of the buyer spectrum. That invisibility is your advantage. Find these at private sales and Craigslist, where sellers routinely price them below actual value, and at smaller dealers where they sit gathering dust while the salespeople attempt to interest customers in new inventory. Senior owners consistently rave about how the Vulcan V800 handles at low speeds, describing parking lot confidence and slow traffic maneuvering as dramatically easier than any heavier machine they previously owned. The Vulcan 800 is a perfectly understated value. However, if you truly want to confuse a dealership salesperson by arriving on something that cost you under $3,000 and performing better than what they sold for $15,000, number 5 is going to become your favorite conversation starter. Number 5, the Honda Shadow Ace 400 VT400. Walk into a dealership on a used Honda Shadow Ace 400 and watch the salesperson try to hide their reaction. They know this machine is practically indestructible. They know parts cost almost nothing, and they know you paid somewhere between $1,500 and $3,000 for it, which is the price of approximately 2 monthly payments on what they are trying to sell you. The Shadow Ace 400 was produced for the Japanese domestic market, which means it was engineered to survive urban riding in one of the world's most demanding environments, and then cleaned up, serviced, and exported globally. The seat height sits at an astonishing 24.8 inches. For senior riders who have been told they are too short for motorcycles by people trying to sell them lowering kits, this motorcycle is a direct rebuttal delivered in mechanical form. The V-twin engine is Honda Simple and Honda Reliable, which as a combined descriptor represents roughly the highest reliability designation available in motorcycling. Find these at import specialists, private sales, and online classifieds, where their 400 cubic centimeter displacement causes price-anchored buyers to pass them over entirely. Senior owners rave about the ground confidence that comes from a seat height that is genuinely low without requiring any modification whatsoever. If these 5 machines have already saved your retirement fund from a dealership finance agreement, subscribe now and ring that notification bell. The machines coming at numbers 4 through 1 are even better value. Do not miss them. Number 4, the Suzuki Boulevard 40 LS650. The Suzuki Boulevard S40 is the machine that experienced senior riders purchase when they want to stop explaining their motorcycle to people at fuel stops and just ride. Clean examples sell between $2,200 and $3,500. This places it firmly in the "my spouse cannot argue with this price" category. which is an underrated feature in the used motorcycle market. Weight sits at approximately 412 pounds wet, making the S40 one of the lightest cruisers on this list. Parking lot maneuvering feels almost unfair in its simplicity compared to heavier alternatives. The narrow waist of the lightweight, single-cylinder chassis lets both legs drop naturally to the ground. The single-cylinder engine configuration was later versions' upgrade, but the V-twin LS650 beneath the Boulevard name is mechanically simple and thoroughly proven across decades of global production. Parts are cheap and available everywhere through the Suzuki network. Overlook the S40 is easy because its restrained styling lacks the drama of more expensive machines. That restraint is a feature. Find these at private sales where sellers consistently price them below their actual reliability value, and at small dealers with large used inventory. Senior owners rave about the lightweight combined with the comfortable ergonomics as the specific combination that makes long afternoon rides feel like a vacation rather than an endurance event. The S40 is a lightweight legend hiding in the bargain bin, but what if you could get shaft drive, a 1,200 cubic centimeter engine, and genuine long-distance capability for under $5,000? Number 3 has been doing exactly that for 20 years while the market slept. Number 3, the Suzuki Boulevard M50. The Suzuki Boulevard M50 is the motorcycle that proves the used market occasionally develops a collective blind spot so large you could park a Goldwing inside it. Clean examples of what is arguably one of the most comfortable, most reliable mid-size cruisers ever produced sell between $2,500 and $4,000. For a machine of this specification, this price requires a moment of sincere gratitude toward the market's persistent irrationality. Seat height sits at 27.6 inches, which is accessible for average height senior riders with standard footwear. The low, wide saddle positions the rider with forward-leaning foot pegs and wide pullback handlebars in an ergonomic package that senior owners describe as the most back-friendly they have encountered at any price point. The V-twin engine produces serious low-end torques for its displacement category. This is not a machine you rev enthusiastically through the range. This is a machine where you release the clutch at low revolutions, and the torque moves you down the road with the casual authority of something considerably larger. The internal components are mechanically simple and completely straightforward for anyone with basic mechanical confidence. Senior owners rave about the torque at low revolutions that makes overtaking and highway merging feel completely relaxed and effortless. The M50 is torque and value in perfect proportion. But if you want something that combines shaft drive, 250 pounds less weight than the average cruiser, and a used price that makes financial advisors nod approvingly, number 2 is the machine experienced mechanics keep buying for their own use. Number 2, the Honda Rebel 250 CM-X 250. Some machines transcend their displacement category through sheer excellence of execution. The Honda Rebel 250 is not a small motorcycle that compromises. It is a precisely sized motorcycle that delivers exactly what senior riders in urban and suburban environments actually need, wrapped in an iconic design that has aged so well it practically mocks more expensive alternatives. Clean Honda Rebel 250 examples sell between $1,500 and $3,000. Yes, that price includes Honda reliability, an iconic cruiser silhouette, and the freedom to stop worrying about dropping an expensive machine. The seat height sits at 27.2 inches, which is flat-footable for riders between 5'5" and 5'8" in standard footwear. Weight is approximately 326 pounds wet. This is the specific number that makes senior riders who have spent years managing 500-pound machines experience something close to a religious experience when they first maneuver a Rebel 250 out of a parking space. Effortless does not adequately describe it. This machine is overlooked because the 250 designation causes buyers conditioned by displacement status culture to walk past it toward machines with larger numbers and larger problems. Find these everywhere: private sales, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and dealer-used sections where they sit criminally underpriced. Senior owners rave about the freedom from anxiety that comes with owning a machine light enough to write from a tip, simple enough to service yourself, and cheap enough to ride without financial stress. The Rebel 250 is freedom sold at a deeply reasonable price. The moment has arrived. The machine sitting at number 1 is going to completely destroy the idea that a senior rider needs to spend more than $5,000 to own a genuinely exceptional cruiser. Number 1, the Honda Shadow 1100 Ace Tourer. The biggest, most expensive lie the motorcycle industry tells senior riders is that 1,100 cubic centimeters of reliable, smooth V-twin power in a full touring package costs serious money. When informed senior riders want maximum displacement, maximum comfort, and maximum reliability in a cruiser under $5,000, they actively avoid the heavily marketed, aging, air-cooled American alternatives. Instead, master technicians and savvy riders buy the Honda Shadow 1500 Ace Tourer. They choose it because it is, quite literally, one of the most over-engineered machines Honda ever pointed at the cruiser segment, and then priced so reasonably that the used market has never caught up to what it actually is. Clean Honda Shadow 1100 Ace Tourer examples sell between $3,000 and $4,800. For 1,100 cubic centimeters of smooth V-twin motivation with integrated windscreen, saddlebags, and passenger backrest as standard equipment, this price is so favorable it requires a second look to confirm you are reading it correctly. Weight is approximately 620 pounds wet, and the low center of gravity makes this dramatically more manageable at slow speeds than that figure implies. The liquid cooling keeps operating temperature consistent, regardless of whether you're on a highway or sitting in slow traffic for 20 minutes while construction workers discuss their lunch plans directly in front of your lane. Parts are abundant through the vast Honda global network. The 1100 Ace platform shared components across multiple Honda models, making the supply chain robust and the pricing competitive. Home mechanics with basic skills can handle all routine maintenance confidently. This machine is overlooked because the Shadow badge belongs to a long line of differently sized models, causing buyers to assume all Shadows are similar. An 1,100 cubic centimeter touring-equipped Honda with these specifications at this price is not similar to its smaller siblings. It is in an entirely different category, pretending to be affordable, because Honda made it affordable and the used market forgot to correct for that. Find these at private sales where sellers consistently value them below market, at estate sales where families of touring riders are simply motivated to sell, and at Cycle Trader where they sit, waiting for informed buyers who understand what they are actually looking at. Senior owners rave about one thing above everything else: the liquid cooling. After years of managing hot air-cooled machines in summer traffic, the Shadow 1100 Ace Tourer's consistent operating temperature transforms the experience of riding in warm weather from a physical endurance test into a genuinely pleasant activity, at a price that leaves money in the retirement account where it belongs. Click on the next video in order to continue the ride. Subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to like this video.